I'm going to cut right to the chase. 2022 was such an incredible year for anime. Easily one of the strongest I have seen in all my years of keeping up with airing anime. 2022 is going to be remembered as downright legendary. Hi and welcome to the channel. I'm your friendly ghost on the screen, the Neon Ghost, and tonight we'll be going through my recommendations for anime series released in 2022, whether they be new shows or new seasons. I'll be doing things a little differently this year, as the entries will be in a rough ascending order from least recommended to most recommended, based on nothing but my own personal preference. Like I said, it's a rough order, so don't take adjacent placements all too seriously, and keep in mind that all of these shows are recommendations, and I did enjoy all of them. Also keep in mind, I am but only one ghost, so I am not able to watch every show. If you think I missed out on something that's worth watching, please leave a comment. We have a lot of shows to cover, so without any further delay, let's get to the recommendations. Starting off, we have Spriggan, which is an adaptation of a late 80s manga. It's a fun action romp about a high school age special agent, aka a Spriggan, and his various adventures in dealing with ancient artifacts from an ancient advanced civilization. It's kind of like Metal Gear meets Indiana Jones. It's a dumb turn your brain off kind of action adventure series with enough thrills to entertain despite some wonky animation and some ugly visuals. More than anything, it gives me an excuse to bring up the movie adaptation from 1998, which is a blast to watch in that specific way that action movies from that time period can only provide. Some incredible animation in that version. The crippling social anxiety exploits of Komi makes another appearance in 2022. The whole shy girl thing will become a bit of a reoccurring theme in this video. It's basically the same shtick as we saw last year, the cute and wholesome skit-based storytelling with some brilliant visual direction, but with a few new zany characters and some character progression thrown in the mix. I still enjoyed this second season, but I'm feeling a bit of diminishing returns on the concept, and Komi had quite fierce competition in the lighthearted anime space, which made it stand out a little less this year. I wasn't initially watching Lycoris Recoil, but I saw this clip out of context.
Yeah, 取引したいんだって。
Alright, yeah, I'm down with cute girls doing John Wick things. That's hilarious. It's in that balanced juxtaposition of cute and violent I think Lycoris Recoil finds a strong identity. It's not a sickly sweet brand of cute that's over the top, nor is it violent enough to be edgy. The story is about a sect of secret agent high school girls who operate to keep Japanese society safe, and in this world, they are the hidden reason the country has such a low crime rate. It's some good fun junk food that happens to have pretty impressive production values. While the core story is not very interesting, it is however functional in showcasing its stronger elements, like its strong visual presentation with smooth animation, bright color direction, and character designs that really pop. The characters themselves are somehow strangely endearing considering. It's a fun watch for sure. I am here for the zany anime girl Counter-Strike action scenes, and not so much here for the moe pandering stuff. Also check out Hideo Kojima wearing Lycoris Recoil merch. Amazing, isn't it? Majestic even. Fushi the Immortal Being continues to walk the earth among the mortals in this new season. In this entry, we're getting a bigger view of the world and have a better understanding of its metaphysical mechanics. There is plenty to like here, especially the questions about what it means to be immortal in societies and civilizations. An example that sticks out to me is where Fushi interacts with multiple generations of a family line in the span of only a few minutes of screen time. To Your Eternity has lent into having more complex and longer arcs, which I understand. I can't help feel like this is not the best direction for the show. Unfortunately, the best story arc we've had so far is in the early episodes, and subsequent arcs have been living in the shadow of this arc. I prefer the more intimate, smaller stories rather than the grand narrative. But despite this, I'm really enjoying To Your Eternity, still packs some interesting concepts and some very human storytelling, hoping there are some more effective emotional hooks around the corner. But Tatami Time Machine Blues is a spin-off, or maybe a midquel, or something of the sort, to the acclaimed and beloved hipster anime classic, The Tatami Galaxy. If you haven't seen The Tatami Galaxy, firstly, why the hell not? Fix that mistake in your life. But secondly, I wouldn't really recommend this to people who haven't seen the original series. This series is a short 6-episode miniseries that is a fun and quirky hangout vibey story with low-stake time travel shenanigans. And of course, amateur student filmmaking. It's really good fun, and it's a real joy to see more stories with these characters. Check this one out, but definitely check out the Tatami Galaxy if you haven't. They say imitation is the greatest form of flattery, but when does it cross the line into plagiarism? Because hot damn, is the initial premise here just Revolutionary Girl Utena but with giant robots? Okay, so that was a little exaggerated considering how the show progresses, but at the start this very strongly stood out to me. This is the latest entry into the Gundam Alternate Universe catalogue, The Witch from Mercury. The Witch from Mercury focuses on our first female-led Gundam TV show, protagonist Zeleta Mercury, as she joins a prestigious technical school where they settle their differences in official Gundam duels. When Zeleta wins her first duel, she earns the prize of a girl's betrothal, just like in Revolutionary Girl Utena. Alright, enough I know. So this is a strange Gundam entry, because this for the most part has a fairly lighthearted tone. In the first cour, there isn't a real war present. It opens up with a heart-wrenching tragic episode 0 and transitions to a school drama with capitalist business ventures, which is a major theme in Witch from Mercury. Though the stakes really do ramp up with an inciting incident and a change of the character dynamics at the end of the cour, which left an interesting cliffhanger for fans. It does have issues though. The power balance with the mechas seem extra wonky, even by Gundam standards, and the pacing can be a bit uneven, going from slow and dry to so fast that you feel like you're missing out on details. The strongest elements, however, are the mecha battle animation, which is just plain awesome and dynamic, but also the character of Zeleta, who is very lovable, shy and nervous, which is the second shy girl protagonist we have had on this list. Bocchi is the third shy girl protagonist we have on this list and is the undisputed queen of them all. Bocchi the Rock is about a young girl, Hitori Goto, nicknamed Bocchi, who struggles with social anxiety and extreme shyness. Her dream is to form a band and gain recognition from the world, but her aforementioned social difficulties makes that dream hard, even though she is quite talented at guitar and has a decent online following for her anonymous video uploads. This is a fantastic cozy show. I am not usually very receptive to this kind of show, but what makes this really stand out is its chaotic energy and sense of wacky humor. But I also really like Bocchi herself. She is a bit more of a palatable, literally me character than Shinji Ikari. I find her shyness super relatable, and it hits home a lot of the time. And the show isn't afraid to make her a little gremlin, which is a welcome contrast to Komi's pristine princess-like approach to its shy character. Bocchi's wild and vivid imagination that is fueled by anxiety always makes me smile and laugh. Lupin Zero, aka Lupin Babies, is the prequel series set in 1960 Japan, telling the young exploits of Lupin III, the Master Thief, and his longtime accomplice, Jigen. And Lupin Zero is one of those surprising little treats released this year. This is some brilliant vintage fun for Lupin fans, and some of these episodes can go on record as some of the most solid of the recent Lupin releases. It's just some fun, classic Lupin style hijinks. Love that we finally get to meet Lupin the First. He's just some old coot in a bed with a harem of beautiful women, and in a later episode, he's in a bed with a harem of beautiful men. The darker final episodes really set up the rest of the franchise. I guess this could be a starting place for newcomers to the franchise if they wanted to, but I genuinely feel like this works best for longtime fans. And now for the show that needs no introduction, because it's literally the most popular thing on the planet. It's Demon Slayer. Let's not pretend you are not already familiar with this one. It's about kids who slay demons with swords and breathing techniques, and it is the sequel to the first season from 2019 and the movie from 2020. This arc takes the boys to a red light district to hunt a demon who is the most dangerous we've had so far, and results in the longest and most elaborate demon fight to date. Also, the Hashirin featured in this arc is Tengen Uzai, who is a really fun character. especially since he is perfectly cast as Katsuyuki Konishi, who is replicating some major Kamen vibes with this role. Honestly, it's really easy to see why this franchise has such mass appeal. When it comes to its overall storytelling, in the quiet in-between moments and the character work, it's fine. Doesn't really hold up compared to the giants of the battle shonen genre, not its strong point. But when it comes to its battles, it really thrives with grace and style, and then everything else seems insignificant. Ufotable never fails to deliver a breathtaking and gripping fight that is as tense as it is fun, and the Entertainment District arc delivers on a new benchmark for a high-quality fight of the franchise. To venture into the abyss with Rika and friends is to go on a journey full of awe and wonder, as much as it is full of horror and cruelty. Big content warning for this show for people who don't want to see detailed injuries and gore, as well as some of the darkest and most heartbreaking storylines I have seen in anime. Its juxtaposition of tones and aesthetic have cemented it as one of the most absolute standout franchises of recent years. The alien environments are absolutely breathtaking, in no small part to the supporting outstanding soundtrack by Aussie legend Kevin Penkin, but that beautiful environment is also incredibly hostile to human life. This season takes a bit of a divergence from the formula by setting the 13-episode core in one city, and by having two intercutted stories separated by time play out. For those who think they're up to the adventure, please check out the first season, then the movie, and then this season. We all love Mob, and those who don't just haven't watched this show yet. Mob Psycho 100 is a story about a young boy named Mob who was born gifted with extremely potent psychic abilities. Instead of wanting to be a conqueror or a hero, Mob just wants to be a regular boy who earns his way through life fairly. This story is about Mob, his boss Reagan, who is a psychic fraud, a large cast of quirky supporting characters, and all of their offbeat misadventures. I really like this series. It has a distinct brand of weirdness, but at the heart of it all, we have Mob, who is just this good-natured, wholesome boy. This season is set to be the final of the series, and it gets to be much more dramatic than the previous installments. But this is a really good place to put a cap on it. A very satisfying and thematic conclusion. I genuinely cannot get over that awful naming convention, the final season part 2. The final season that is going to last 3 years. Imagine if this part of the story was called Attack on Titan, The Rumbling, parts 1, 2, and 3. Wouldn't that be way better? Anyway, awful name aside, Attack on Titan still manages to be gripping week-to-week television, with twists and turns, and political intrigue, and dark story beats. Not much more to say here that hasn't already been said before, other than I'm really interested in seeing this series wrap up, and that it has really earned its spot as a juggernaut in the anime sphere. Continuing the trend of poorly named franchise entries, we have JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 6, Stone Ocean, Part 2, and Part 3. Yikes. Last year I said Part 6 was shaping up to be one of the weirdest JoJo parts to date, and this year Part 6 has only doubled down on the weird. Some of these stand battles, I can't make heads or tails of what I'm actually watching. It's great. Also, JoJo returns to some of its body horror roots with this weird snail metamorphosis section, which is just wild. I'm not sure how to feel with Part 6's final moments, but the lead up to it I thoroughly enjoyed. Jolene is a fun protagonist and Father Pucci is a fun villain. Now I have to talk about the Netflix situation. They released 13 episode chunks of JoJo Part 6 over the course of 2 years. I am not opposed to the binge watching release schedule, but for JoJo, it's a hype killer. JoJo works best as a battle of the week formula, and this release schedule just takes a lot of the fun out of it. It's a shame really, but JoJo's Part 6 is easily worth checking out. Kaguya Love is War, in my opinion, is the ultimate rom-com, because the central romance is one you can really root for, but also the comedy is top-notch, actually laugh-out-loud quality jokes and skits. The central concept of the series is a cold romance between Kaguya and Shirogane, who are vice president and president, respectively, of the student council of a ritzy high school. Both are smitten with each other, but both are such proud people that they couldn't possibly be the one to confess. So hijinks ensue where they both have have to navigate social situations where they can't slip and do something that can be construed as a confession. This is the third season of this Bundle of Joy series, and it's great. It's so great. There are some great skits like accidentally letting embarrassing audio play from your phone while you don't notice, or a whole extended bit about rapping. It's great stuff. This season is also a real peak for the progression of the story as well. I'm really looking forward to what comes next. Us anime fans are always blessed when director extraordinaire Hiroyuki Imaishi drops a series and somehow even a video game tie-in becomes an instant anime classic. Is the anime better than the game it's based on with a turbulent release? Yes, no questions. This series is a triumph. It oozes with style, personality, and world details, and the story really captures the essence of cyberpunk fiction. It's a really effective tale about people trying to gain upwards momentum in their society, and the only way available to them, crime, and all of the cost that path tolls. In any other year, this would take the spot of Best New Anime. If it wasn't just for Spy Family came out this year and has easily made a place in every viewer's hearts, including mine. This show is now going to act as my go-to cozy comfort show from here on out. It's a brilliant premise. It's about a spy who has a mission to maintain peace between two nations, and to do so, he has to successfully infiltrate a prestigious school. So he successfully assembles a cover family with an adopted daughter and a wife, all while keeping his status as a spy and his mission completely hidden to them. So he thinks. Turns out the girl he adopted is actually secretly a psychic. He can read people's minds. And the mother of the family is actually moonlighting as an assassin. But neither the mum or the dad know each other's secret, but the daughter knows everything. It's a really charming show about family, double lives, espionage, misunderstandings, and much, much more. It's really cute, especially Anya, who's designed to be the perfectly adorable anime child. In any other year, this series would take the spot of Best New Anime. If it wasn't just for Chainsaw Man. It's finally here. One of the most anticipated anime releases in years. It's about a man who is also a chainsaw man. In all seriousness, it's about a demon hunting show set in 90s Tokyo, and our protagonist Denji can harness the power of a chainsaw demon. I don't mean to come off so strong, but I adore this show. It has completely blown me away, and where I stand now, I kind of feel like this is the best anime series in like a decade. It's so well directed, it has a solid world full of fun characters, it has such a unique style and swagger to it. It's just brilliant. I'm not going to talk too much about this show because there is certainly a video coming down the line, but this is my pick for the best new anime of 2022. Well, that concludes the recommendations, and what a year for anime, huh? These three titles in particular are real standouts that have a permanent place in the anime zeitgeist and will be recommended for years and years to come. I keep a list on my top 30 anime of all time, and all three of these made a place on it. Some years don't even have one entry that makes that cut, so it's safe to say the anime releases this year have had real high highs. Anyway, 2022 was a huge year for this channel as well. With the release of my Yamato video, I went from 18 subscribers to over 1,000. Genuinely thank you everyone for your support and interaction. This is a hobby I do in my spare time, so it's very uplifting that many people seem to enjoy it. I feel like 2023 is going to be a big year for the channel. I have a lot of plans and some branding updates coming soon. There was one series this year I really wanted to talk about in this video, and that was Golden Kamuy. Season 4 production has been deferred as a key staff member sadly passed away. Once that season is able to conclude, I'll be able to release that video, which is the video I've been working on since I finished Yamato. So that might be my next video if circumstances line up, but I have a few more videos in the pipeline as well. This has been your friendly ghost on the screen, the Neon Ghost, signing out.